Today on Public Eye News, Michigan Senate approves to end the tax on menstrual products, and the Wisconsin Assembly passes workforce housing bills.
Later, Brady Hinshaw will have your weather, and Michael Cudahy will have your sports update. Hi, I'm Dana Sadler.
And I'm Michael Cudahy, and this is Public Eye News. Governor Whitmer has directed state officials to be ready when the federal government approves the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 5 to 11. The Food and Drug Administration endorsed the vaccine recently and is expected to approve the vaccine in a few days, shortly followed by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention next week. The governor called the vaccine a game changer as it would allow students to participate in extracurricular activities and attend classes more protected from the virus. Michigan currently has 825,000 5 to 11-year-olds, and the state has ordered 287,000 doses of the vaccine. And in Detroit, a judge has dismissed charges of a Detroit police officer who was accused of firing rubber pellets at 3 journalists during a 2020 police brutality protest. Judge Roberta Archer cited a 1931 Michigan law that protects police when an unlawful gathering is declared. Daniel DeBono, who is a corporal with the Detroit Police Department, was charged with assault after hitting 3 journalists with rubber pellets after raising their hands and identifying themselves, claims the prosecution. An appeal is being considered. And the Michigan State Senate has passed a bill that is expected to be signed into law. The bill would end the so-called tampon tax on menstrual products. Michigan will join 20 other states who have either ended the sales tax of menstrual products or have never had the sales tax to begin with. Other bills to end the tax have been introduced in the last 5 years, but none have ever made it to the floor for a vote.
Wisconsin lawmakers passed a package of anti-abortion bills to the Governor Tony Evers Wednesday, which is expected to be rejected by him yet again, just like he did 2 years ago. Republicans do not have enough votes in the legislature to override an Evers veto, which is why Republicans know these extreme bills won't become law, and they know the majority of Wisconsin population supports access to safe and legal abortion. Along with Governor Evers expected to be re-elected next year, as is everyone in the Assembly and half the state Senate, not giving much hope to Republicans to change the possibility of the law being passed. A package of bills are being passed by the Wisconsin Assembly to create more affordable housing for workers, reduce regulations, and reform outdated practices. With the increasingly tight housing market, the prices have been rapidly increasing. Although it sounds nice, the bill is stirring up controversy, with Madison City assessor stating information will be limited when determining property value for tax purposes. One of the bills require housing projects to be approved for lower-income residents by local governments. Another states that if the resident's income is no more than 120% of the national income median, there will be interest-free or low-interest loans available to them. These bills are to head for the Senate, and if the Senate passes these bills, then Governor Tony Evers will have to sign for it to become law. While work is being done to reduce prices for residents in Wisconsin, the opposite is currently happening in Minnesota. Xcel, a Minneapolis-based electric company, is planning on increasing the rate they charge for electricity by 20% over the next 3 years. They filed this request, which will add around $15 to $21 a month to residential customers' bills. And now it's up to the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission to approve or deny this request. With an increased gas bill and inflation rising, this increase in their electric bill might not be taken so well by their 1.3 million customers. Xcel's president for Minnesota and the Dakota, Chris Clark, states that the rise is to help pay for necessary infrastructure investments. After this break, we will be back with your national and international news.
All along the New England coast, ospreys are icons of summer. They've come to take up their greatest challenge, to compete with each other, to fend off thieves, and to raise tiny, helpless chicks. For an osprey, summer is no day at the beach. It's an annual call to battle and the toughest test of everything they are.
Tonight at 8.
And welcome back. The U.S. House estimates that 59,000 meatpacking workers contracted COVID, with 269 of them dying. Those numbers were found in a report released Wednesday, though the report estimates that the numbers could actually be much higher. The United States House Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Crisis used internal documents from 5 of the nation's largest meat producers. Original estimates made by the United Food and Commercial Workers Union were around 22,400 contracting the virus. The documents used did not account for outside testing or self-reported cases, so the actual number of meatpacking workers who contracted the virus could be much higher. The subcommittee found that the companies whose reports they used did not adequately protect their workers, instead prioritizing profits over workers' health and safety. Cargill, Tyson, and JBS released statements saying that they aggressively worked to meet standards set by the federal government during the coronavirus pandemic. And Facebook and Instagram have been a target for lawmakers on Capitol Hill over the past few weeks. Now, Congress is turning to other social media platforms and their potential impact on children and teenagers. Senators pressured executives from Snapchat, TikTok, and YouTube at a hearing yesterday, warning them to do more to protect young users. Chris Van Cleve has the story.
Let's give some kisses.
Neri Pena likes to keep her girls busy outside and off of social media. She limits apps like TikTok and YouTube to 1 hour a day and only with supervision after her 9-year-old was shown a video about how to get a boyfriend.
I was like, hold up. No. I don't want you getting any ideas or thinking this is okay or have it affect you in any way.
The problem is clear. Big tech preys on children and teens to make more money.
In the wake of the 60 Minutes interview with a Facebook whistleblower raising concerns about social media's impact on children, executives from Snapchat, TikTok, and YouTube tried to convince skeptical senators their apps are different.
We're seeking to earn trust through a higher level of action, transparency, and accountability.
Snapchat is different. Snapchat was built as an antidote to social media.
It's not a defense to say that you are different.
If it were your child, what would you do to protect your child?
Lawmakers confronted the companies about the dangers social media can pose to kids, content glorifying eating disorders and suicide, bullying, and violent challenges going viral.
Are you going to get drugs off Snapchat?
I assure you, this is such a top priority for our entire company.
Dr. Laura Berman's 16-year-old son Sammy died earlier this year after taking pills laced with fentanyl that he bought off Snapchat.
It is not a sufficient answer to me that they're working. Yeah, that's the bare minimum they should be doing.
All three companies pledged to share internal research about their app's effects on children.
There is no issue more important than the safety and well-being of our kids online.
Several senators are working on legislation to offer additional protections for children when it comes to social media. They attempted to ask the executives on that panel if they would support the various measures. The senators found the executives hard to pin down. Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, who chaired this hearing, has asked Mark Zuckerberg to appear. That would be the first time lawmakers have heard from the Facebook CEO since that whistleblower came forward. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Washington.
Gas stations in the Islamic Republic were paralyzed yesterday after a cyber attack. Iran's President Ibrahim Raiser's statements suggest that he believes anti-Iranian forces are the reason for the shutdown. Those who waited in extremely long lines for gas ended up having to pay higher unsubsidized price rather than using the government-issued electronic cards that many Iranians are provided with for subsidized fuel. When using these cards, a message was displayed on the machine saying cyber attack 64411. In July, there was a similar occurrence to Iran's rail system, which the Secretary of the Supreme Council of Cyberspace has linked to this one through the number. As of right now, there is no information on who is responsible for the shutdown. Also, children as young as age 5 are one step closer to being eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. An FDA panel scrutinized Pfizer's data on their pediatric vaccine and recommended it receive an emergency authorization. CBS Laura Podasa explains.
17 voted yes.
An FDA advisory panel has given the first recommendation for Pfizer's smaller dose COVID-19 vaccine for children 5 to 11 years old.
At one point, we thought if we vaccinated enough people, that the virus will go away. It's not going away, and I think we're going to have to find a way to live with it.
A CDC panel will weigh in next week, and it's possible shots could be going into young arms just a few days after that.
We don't want children to be dying of COVID, even if it is far fewer children than adults, and we don't want them in the ICU.
More than 6 million American children have contracted COVID. Still, parents are split on whether their kids should get the shots.
I think it's a good idea because everybody can be safe.
I think that they're just too small, and this is something that's just too new.
Roughly 28 million children will be eligible if Pfizer's pediatric vaccine receives emergency authorization. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
After this break, we'll be back with your weather and sports.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. On this episode of UTR, we're back in the UP's Keweenaw Peninsula for a hotel you can bank on, a dinner full of hops and history, and a B&B that'll blow your mind. Then we explore Calumet in Copper Country and dine at one of Michigan's top restaurants. Literally. This is an Under the Radar you just gotta see.
Thursday night at 9:30 on WNMU-TV.
And welcome back. I'm your weatherman, Brady Hinshaw. Behind me on this NMU campus, it looks like the sun is peeking out some more over the rainy clouds. And if we look at our current conditions, it is partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 51 degrees, winds out of the southeast at 11 miles an hour, and barometric pressure of 30.03 and falling. Looking towards tonight, we have cloudy skies with a low of 46, winds out of the southeast at 7 miles an hour. Looking towards tomorrow, we have cloudy skies with a high of 53, winds out of the east, southeast at 5 miles an hour. Now, if we take a look at our beautiful UP, it is clouds across the board with 53 in Sault Ste. Marie, 51 in both Manistee and Escanaba. And if we take a look at our western half, it is 53 in Menominee, 53 in Iron Mountain and Ironwood as well. It's a little warmer up in Houghton with 55, and back in beautiful Marquette, it is 51. Friday, we have a high of 55 and a low of 46 in cloudy skies. Saturday, a high of 52 and a low of 43 and partly cloudy skies. And Sunday, a high of 49 and a low of 36 with a chance of rain, And now on to Michael with those sports.
Hi there. NHL General Manager Stan Bowman has resigned from his post as GM of the Chicago Blackhawks and also as General Manager of the United States men's Olympic team for the coming 2022 Beijing Olympics. The Chicago Blackhawks hired law firm Jenner & Block to look into the team's handling of a 2010 sexual assault allegation made against one of the team's video coaches by two of the team's players. Jenner & Block found that the team did not handle the allegations made by the players, met with the team's policy even back then. The decision to wait until the end of the playoffs to terminate the video coach was made by then head coach John Quenneville, now head coach of the Florida Panthers, and Kevin Cheveldayoff, who was an executive with the Blackhawks at the time, but is now GM of the Winnipeg Jets, along with Stan Bowman himself. Mark Bergevin is now GM of the Montreal Canadiens and was with the organization at the time. The reason the team waited to fire the video coach was that they did not wish to disrupt team chemistry in the middle of a playoff run that yielded the team a Stanley Cup. The NHL has fined the team $2 million, which is upsetting hockey fans. The New Jersey Devils, for instance, were fined $3 million in 2013 for circumventing the NHL salary cap, half the fine which was then returned to the team. And the Arizona Coyotes were fined a first and second round picks for combine testing violations during the pandemic. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman says he plans to sit down with both Quenneville and Cheveldayoff about the incident in 2010. In the meantime, the assistant GM to the men's Olympic hockey team is Bill Guerin, also general manager of the Minnesota Wild. Guerin is being investigated along with the Pittsburgh Penguins organization for covering up mishandling of a sexual assault case within their organization as well. And in other Minnesota Wild news, they defeated Vancouver last night 3-2 with Matt Zuccarello scoring the first goal for the Wild and Jonas Brodin giving them a 2-0 lead. Alex Chiasson and Canucks captain Bo Horvat got the lone goals for Vancouver. And that's all the time we have for you today. I'm Michael Cudahy.
And I'm Dana Sadler, and this was Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.